Leaf president and GM Cliff Fletcher was also busy in the offseason. New faces to the team include defenseman Larry Murphy over from Pittsburgh and Dmitry Yushkevich from Philadelphia. Some say that new faces hurt the Leafs last year. They didn't have time to come together as a team in the shortened season. That shouldn't be a problem this time. Doug Gilmour is one Leaf who would like to forget last season.
From last year, I'm not here to make excuses, but last year maybe the focus wasn't there each and every night, and this year it's going to be.
The Leaf captain scored only 10 goals and had 33 points in 44 games. He must reestablish himself this season if the Leafs are to have any kind of a chance.
Back a standing O for Mario, a magnificent one as he makes his return, and he has a good chance early on, alone at the side of the net, but doesn't get good wood on it. Felix Potvin making the glove save. Can't score, so he sets one up, sends it back to Ron Francis on the power play. That beats Potvin. An assist from Mario ties the game up at 1. The Leafs go back ahead. Doug Gilmour makes a great pass to Matt Sundin, flips it over Barrasso. The Leafs lead it 2-1. But the Penguins answer shorthanded. Richard Park steals it from Larry Murphy at the line, turns on the Jets, away he goes, and then will rip a shot into the top corner. This game's tied up at 2-all. Well, after Peter Nedved put the Pens up 3-2 right off the draw, Francis slides it up to Jaromir Jagr, beats the Cat. It's 4-2 for the Pens. Francis just having a great game. Jagr spots him sneaking in, puts it right on his stick. Francis puts it in his second. 6-3 for the Pens. The Pens get another one shorthanded, 3-on-1. Sergei Zubov plays a give and go with Jagr. Zubov making no mistakes, 7-3 Pittsburgh at that point. Added another one to go on to beat Toronto 8-3. Mario Lemieux with 4 assists on the night, played in 21 shifts with 6 shots on the net.
Wendell Clark still loved in Toronto apparently. Standing ovation on his first shift. The Leafs fans not with much else to cheer about and certainly stand about early on. Watch what happens here. Long shot drifts past Felix Potvin. Hockey game tied at 1. Off the ensuing faceoff, Wendell Clark to Marty McGinnis. This is just 7 seconds later. Alexander Seamak with a backhander, and the Islanders led it 2-1. Second period now, the Islanders up 3-2. The Leafs pick up the play. Dmitry Yushkevich just runs into Zygmunt Palffy. Unfortunately, when he wakes up, his name is still Zygmunt. That gets the Leafs going. Tied at 3. Matt Sundin from behind the net. Great speed. Mike Gartner there to stuff it in. 4-3 for the Maple Leafs, and Sundin on fire. Watch Tommy Soderstrom try to clear it. Sundin picks it out of the air. Sundin moves in. Sundin with a shot through the pads. 5-3 for the Maple Leafs at that point, and they're really rolling in the second period. Classic Mike Gartner down the right side. Gartner moves over the blue line, top of the circle, short side he goes. 6-3 for the Maple Leafs. Leafs added one more. 7-3 was the final. Leafs win their 3rd straight home opener. The line of Sundin, Gartner, and Hogue combined for 9 points. The Leafs all over the Islanders outshot them 50-21. Let's keep it.
Ty Domi has dropped Ulf Samuelsson like a bad habit on Saturday night, but it was a sucker punch to a guy who wasn't looking. NHL Vice President in charge of discipline in this case, Brian Burke, was looking at tapes, and he was looking to send a message around the league about this kind of thing when he slapped Ty Domi with an 8-game suspension on Tuesday, along with a $1,000 fine. He's the director of hockey operations, and when looking at the tapes, he called it a premeditated and clearly administered act with the intent to injure an opponent. Some people criticizing this ruling as too drastic, but Brian Burke says he wanted to emphasize this suspension, this 8 games, comes to Ty Domi for what was not really a fighting incident at all. Leafs get the news about Domi in the day, and then they go out and take on San Jose in Maple Leaf Gardens, and the Sharks get a penalty 16 seconds in, so that anemic Toronto power play goes to work, but it clicks as Larry Murphy from the point redirected and helped in by Mike Gartner. 1-0 Toronto early. Archer Zerbe gets the yank after Toronto goes up 3-0 in the first. Wade Flaherty will try his luck, but it didn't matter. Leafs keep coming. Gilmour drops to Momesso, and Momesso shoots. Gilmour goes to the net for the rebound, shovels in the rebound. Leafs up 4-0. Still the first period. They're not finished. Look at Dmitry Yushkevich knocking Willie Peltonen off the puck. And the Leafs on the transition go. Gilmour, Momesso over to Andrechuk, and upstairs it goes, and it's 5-0. Make it another power play goal for the Maple Leafs, who had only scored 4 so far this year. San Jose scored a pair early in the 3rd. Then they gave it away in their own end, and Larry Murphy turns around and finds himself and Matt Sundin wide open. Look at the save by Flaherty right there, but nobody picks up the trailer. Momesso pops in his 2nd of the night. Make it 7-2 for the Maple Leafs as they laugh their way to a victory here at home. 7-2, and the Leafs 4 for 5 on the power play, and looking very good as they were led by Gartner and Momesso with a couple of goals each. Florida Panthers are on fire. Scott Mellenby leading Florida with 7 goals in 7 games heading into this one. Panthers get off to a quick start here. 2 minutes in. Baumgartner can't catch up to Jody Hull. He puts the good move on Felix Potvin and scores. Florida up 1-0 in Toronto. But the Leafs answer Larry Murphy will get the puck back at the point here after the Panthers can't clear, and his soft shot hits somebody in front, beats the Beezer, and game tied at 1. With 51 seconds to play in the first, Scott Mellenby down the right side, unloads a slapper, and we think that hit Darby Henriksen as he was trying to move somebody from the crease. Regardless, it's a goal for Florida. They're up 2-1. Then the opening minute of the second, Mellenby gets the puck to Rob Niedermeyer. Two guys right there, but Rob Niedermeyer gets a stick down, unmolested, and redirected past Potvin. 3-1 Panthers. More bad news for the Leafs in this game. Watch Matt Sundin's blade get caught in the ice. Ouch! Goes down in a lot of pain. Actually, he was all right. He heads to the dressing room to get checked out. Initial reports are calling it a strained left knee. And things get worse for the Leafs after that. Down 4-1. Andrechuk will cough it up with a terrible play here. And Jody Hull beats Strudlin, who buries it. Second of the game. 5-1 Florida. They go on to win 6-1 in Toronto. And look at those Panthers. First ever win against the Maple Leafs, but they are now tied with the Devils for the most points in the NHL with 12. And Mellenby with 1 goal and 1 assist. He has 8 goals in 8 games and is leading those Panthers. And Doug McClain doing a great job behind the bench for Florida. How quickly was Bob Zettler called up for the Maple Leafs, and Probert lays a beating on him. Then a bad break for the Maple Leafs. Bill Berg fighting here with Igor Ulanov and falls and breaks his leg. Ouch. Toronto to open the scoring in the first on the power play. Sloppy clearing by the Hawks, and Benoit Hogue finds a loose puck, fires it. Top shelf, 1-0 Leafs. Then just before the end of the first, Leafs on the power play again. Todd Gill from the high slot scores on a knuckler over at Belfort. 2-0 Toronto, and they would hang on to win on the road 2-1, although they took some lumps in the physical department. And Bill Berg, again, broken leg. No word on how long he will be out. Leafs 3-1-2 in their last 6 meetings with Chicago. And the first win against a team with an above 500 record, the Leafs beating Chicago.
Wayne Gretzky also always has big games at the Garden. 127 points in 51 career games against Toronto, but it was the goalies who shine early. Sergio Momesso at the side of the net, but Byron Dafoe lays down the paddle, huge save. And then Pocket goes down to stop the first shot. And then Richard Upnate says great glove save on Tony Granato's rebound. No score after 2. But Gretzky has his cue powdered between the periods, and it seems to pay off. Kings on the power play. Gretzky in his office behind the net. Comes out, hits Vitaly Yachmanev in the slot, and finally beats Potvin. It's 1-0 Kings. The Leafs get a power play chance of their own. Kenny Johnson fires a shot from the point. Todd Warner fires the rebound into the empty net, and Warner gets his first NHL goal. The game's tied up at 1. Just a minute 29 later, Kings with a 2-man advantage. Gretzky gets a rebound, fires it past Potvin, and the Kings are up 2-1. The Leafs go back on the power play. Dave Andrechuk centers it. Sergio Momesso right there shoots batted out of the air, and to tie the game up at 2. Overtime was solved nothing. That's the way it ended, a 2-2 final. The Leafs had 20 shots on goal in each of the second and third periods. They outshot the Kings 58-29 in the game. Wayne Gretzky had an assist to go along with his second goal of the season.
Leafs in for a visit. First period, the Leafs in the power play. The power play is working well. Larry Murphy at the side of the net will control the puck, gets it in front of Doug Gilmore. He scores and then gets a real close-up look at the puck as he is shoved in 1-0. 32 seconds later, Alexei Zhamnov out 7 games with a knee injury. Wires one past Felix Potvin. Good job going short side of that one. I thought he'd go the other way. Later on, Dave Andrechuk all alone in front. Tons of time. Mike Gartner with a feed. Leafs scored 3 on the power play, 3-1 at that point. Second period, Momesso carries it in. Mike Craig can't control, but right there, swept in by Benoit Hogue for just his second of the year, 4-1. Zhamnov back and looking really good. Zhamnov around Larry Murphy. Zhamnov beats Felix Potvin. That cut it to 4-2, but the Maple Leafs hung on for a 4-2 victory. By the way, Gartner's assist was the 1,200th career point. His assist on Dave Andrechuk's goal. Toronto 3 for 6 in the power play. Actually, not that impressive when you consider they were 3 for 3 at one time. But at Burns said the Leafs were looking better. Him light it up. Here's an ex-Toronto Maple Leaf trying to make his old team pay Mike Ridley, and he does early on. Ridley gets the drawback to Dave Babbage. His shot is stopped by Rhodes, but the rebound. Beautiful backhand by Ridley. Top shelf. 1-0 for the Canucks. The Russian Rockets then start to fire. Bure with the puck. Drops it for McGillney. McGillney with a wrist shot, and it's kind of a floater that beats Damian Rhodes. Canucks owning the Maple Leafs. It's 2-0. Ty Domi back after his 8-game suspension, and like a hungry man who hasn't had a meal in a long time, he does what he loves to do, and he gets in a scrap with Gino Ojic. Second period, Leafs in the power play. Gartner makes the nice move, slides it in front of Gilmore, and Gilmore buries it. The Canucks lead it. It's a 3-1 game. Then Matt Sundin and Benoit Hogue. Beautiful passing here. Sundin to Hogue. Back to Sundin. Top corner. Great play. Leafs score 3 in minute 20. 26 to tie the game. Third period. Watch Ross Courtnall go in and tie. Domi puts the shoulder on and knocks him down. Leafs trailing at 4-3. Benoit Hogue with 2 defenders on him. Watch the poke check from McLean. He tries to clear it, but right to Momesso. And Momesso scores 4-4. They went through overtime. Nobody scored. 4-4 the final score. Bure had a couple of assists in that game, and Canuck fans hope he's busting up.
A little tired when they got to Edmonton early Saturday morning. They found out that the rooms were double booked, so they were a little tired for these fans in the stands. But just over 3 minutes to go in the game, Larry Murphy with a point shot. The rebound goes out to Domi, and it's 1-0 Toronto. The Oilers look for the equalizer. Kirk Mackey on a breakaway, but Felix pops in. He stones him. Then Frederik Olofsson heads to the dressing room after getting splashed. He was in some pain. They took him to the hospital, but did release him afterwards. Just some sore ribs, they say. Second period action. Todd Warner comes around the net, pops in his second goal of the year to give the Leafs a 2-0 lead. But then a great tilt. Ty Domi, Dennis Bonzi going toe-to-toe. They have to give this decision to Domi, but it did fire up the Edmonton Oilers because moments later, Scott Thornton in with the initial shot. It stopped. Buries in the rebound. Edmonton cuts the lead to 2-1. Toronto goes up 3-1, but the Oilers fight back. Boris Mironov takes down Doug Gilmour and gives him a bit of a shot. Mironov winds up in the penalty box, but 2 minutes later, the Leafs cough up the puck at the blue line. Thornton gives it to Mironov after his penalty expires, and Mironov makes them pay. Oilers trailing 3-2. Edmonton continues to press, and with time winding down in the third, Jason Arnott rips the wrist shot by Potson on the short side. Game tied up at 3. They went into overtime, but nothing was decided. They had to settle for the 3-all saw-off. And Mike Craig had 2 assists for Toronto. Scott Thornton had 2 assists.
Partner, the all-time leading goal scorer, drawing up the plays, telling his teammates how the Capitals will play it. The Leafs come out flying. Gartner, 47 seconds in with a feed right there to Dave Anderchuk. He beats holding the goalie to 1-0 at that point, 2-0 quickly. And Jim Schoenfeld in a nasty mood. His team was blown out. 7 seconds into a 2-man advantage. Gartner centers, gets a break. Sylvain Cote has to go off his skate and in. 3-0 Toronto. The second goal of the game for Washington's all-time leading goal scorer, Mike Gartner. The X-Caps aren't done. Here's the best defenseman in their history, Larry Murphy with a blast. Murphy acquired by the Maple Leafs to man the point of the power play, and he's doing it well now after a slow start. 5-0 Toronto. Caps get one back. Nice passing there. Riki and Juno back and forth they go. Riki finishes. Washington trails it 5-1, but this game, the key was the alumni for the Capitals. Short side goal by Larry Murphy. The Leafs sentence the Capitals to... It's not going to work out that well. I better say it this way. Leafs sentence Washington the capital punishment 6-1. Toronto over Washington. Gartner and Larry Murphy, the X-Caps, each with 2 goals and an assist. Potvin played a good game. 41 saves.
This might be it. Knocked down by Hines. In alone. Score! Well, that'll change it. 2-1. The Bruins finally get one. Gilmour lets it there. Here's a break for Gartner. He'll get a second of the game. And the Leafs are going to win this hockey game. 3-1 now. Toronto on that lead pass. And Gartner was cruising at center. Took it onside.
Hosting the Maple Leafs, and a lot of Toronto fans down in the warm weather there saying hi to TSN. Hi back. The Leafs draw first blood. Dave Anderchuk intercepting a pass at his own blue line. That gives him a breakaway, and puts it between the pads right there. Short-handed. Darren Krupa, 2-0 Toronto after 1. Terry Crisp hoping the vote of confidence from management lasts longer than a period. In the second, the Lightning cut into the Leafs lead. Brian Bradley circles the net. That one won't go, but this one will. Sharp angle, banks it off his shoulder of Felix Potvin. The Lightning trail by 1. Tap it down 3-2 to start the third, but 24 seconds in. Eiserbart will ring one off the goalpost and then swoop in and grab his own rebound and stuff it upstairs, tying the game at 3. Leafs down 4-3 late in the game with an extra attacker out there, and Anderchuk taps it to Benoit Hogue, and he puts it into a crowd, forcing overtime. 4-4 ties. So they go to overtime, and 30 seconds in, Hogue comes through again, spins and fires here. That's the game winner. As Benoit Hogue is the man for Toronto, getting the tying goal late, and then the OT winner. And there's your final score of 5-4. Anderchuk with a goal and 2 assists, a 3-point night. The Lightning have given up a lead high 7. Shorthand.
Gets in town, and his Leafs come out strong in the first. Larry Murphy, the shot, the high rebound, and that's Dundee from behind the red line, slapping it home. It's 1-0 Toronto. In the second, the Leafs keep pressing. Sergio Momesso sends it out front. Benoit Hogue gets stripped, but still gets a pass for Pavi Bulin. It's 2-0 Toronto. But they just catch a break. The Leafs on the power play. Darren Turcotte sends it out. Timo Solani, a nice tip, a shorthanded goal. Jets trailing by just 1.
In the third period, the Jets looking for the equalizer. Keppel Newman right in front. Turcotte tries to bang in the rebound, but Potvin holds the fort down, and the Leafs hang on to win 2-1. Matt Sundin has 3 goals and 10 assists in his last 8 games. Both he and Benoit Hogue have figured in the scoring of the Leafs' last 4 goals, so they're hot, and the Leafs are unbeaten in 6 of their last 7 games. And Los Angeles Kings down the hottest team in the league right now, 3-2 over the Florida Panthers. So that means that the Panthers' 8-game unbeaten streak is over.
Banners honoring Tim Horton and King Clancy raised to the Gardens rafters before this one. And here is the teacher and the student. Felix Potvin, of course, learning some of the tricks of the trade from Grant Fuhrer in his rookie season. But it's the teacher who is beaten first here. Doug Gilmore's pass deflected back to him, and he bats it under the air, and that'll slide under Grant Fuhrer. He blows the pads quick enough, 1-0 lead. Potvin showing that he learned some things from Fuhrer. Look at that great sprawling save right there on Ian LaPerriere. Leafs lead 2-0 after 1. Second period, Leafs on the power play. Sundin breaks in. Over to Benoit Hogue. Boy, is he having a good month. He slides another puck under Grant Fuhrer. So out comes Grant Fuhrer. In goes Bruce Racine. The move seems to work. A minute and a half later, LaPerriere wins the draw. Murray Barron stepped into one and blasted just under the crossbar. Blues down 3-1. They added one to make it 3-2. Then Jeff Norton looking to tie it up. Quick shot. But Potvin getting the skate blade out on it. Nice save there. Third period now. Leafs score again. Todd Gill shot will hit Ken Baumgartner in the arm and bounce in. The Bomber will take that, though. His first of the year, 11th of his career. Part of a Leafs win, too. 5-2 the final score. Brett Hull not playing in this game. Still out with the injury. Maple Leafs 7-0-3 in their conference. Tops in the Central. They killed all 6 penalties that they had in this game, and they have killed 33 of the last 36 power plays against them. And the Blues continue to struggle. 3-6-0 on the road.
And his Whalers, after a big victory over the Canadians, trying to do the same against the Maple Leafs. Leafs had been red hot, but you know who is red hot? An ex-Maple Leaf. Jeff Reese in goal, replacing Sean Burke. Nice save right there off Matt Sundin. Scoreless until a few moments later. Glenn Featherstone with a drop to Kelly Chase, and at the other end, the guy in the net is not sharp. Felix Potvin, 1-0 at that point. Then a brutal giveaway by Dave Ellett, and again, I probably think that Potvin would say he should have had that. Nelson Emerson scores 2-0 at that point. Emerson's 100th of his career. Here's a nice play. Kuchera across to Anders Sanderson. 3-0. The Whalers rolling at that point. Move ahead to the second now. Damian Rose in for Felix Potvin. Didn't make any difference for a couple of reasons. Because Castles rips it to make it 4-0, and because the Maple Leafs were getting nothing. They were stymied by this guy, Jeff Reese, with a big glove hand off Dave Anderchuk. First shutout of the season. Hartford 4 and Toronto nothing. Where did that come from? Leafs had lost only 1 of their past 10. Leafs now 0-8-1 when they trailed after the first period, as they did in that one.
Those were wins by the Jets, and he is looking good in goal. 10-5 his record. Jets rookie Shane Doan reminding the Leafs they have come to play, running over Dmitry Yushkevich there. Ty Domi's buddy, though, Teemu Selanne, opens the scoring here as the Jets throw it around on the power play. Selanne, the trigger man from over there in the circle, gets up 1-0. Late in the period, team's playing four-side. Teppo Newman, look at him stepping up into the rush, and he gets around Dave Ellett and tucks it in short side. Winnipeg up 2-0 after 1. Leafs turn things around. Second period, Mike Gardner knocks down a shot from the point by Larry Murphy, stuffs in the rebound. First goal, Javi Bullen's given up in over 100 minutes. Leafs on the board, down 3-1. Winnipeg already playing without Keith Tkachuk, of course. Maybe without Teppo Newman for a while now. Randy Wood catches him down with his head down and drills him into the glass. Newman has got a shoulder injury and left the game. Leafs keep playing the body too. Yushkevich laying a big hit on Chris King right there. Third period, Sundin will get the draw back to Kenny Johnson, and then Sundin goes to the net, and nobody picks him up, and he jams in a rebound here as it sits on the goal line. Game tied at 3. Late in the period, though, Korolev sends Zamnov in. Harmless-looking shot. Potvin should have had that one. Got under his arm, short side. That's the winner. Zamnov, second of the night. And they have the win, 4-3, even without Keith Tkachuk. Nikolai Khabibulin, 35 saves, now 11-5 on the year, 15 consecutive starts. Nobody going to these games, though. Fewer than 10,000 out there, even though the Jets are 8-2-2 at home.